Good morning from sunny Austin, Texas, and welcome back to JSA TV Live here at Datacloud USA. This is day 2 of this inaugural event, and we're coming back to you live. First, we just want to shout out to our beautiful video producer who is behind the scenes, JSA's brand new digital marketing and events manager, Allison Whelan. So she's keeping all this JSA TV live and doing a fabulous job. Right, Keely?
That's right. She's probably one of the hardest working people here at this entire conference. So, again, shout out to Allison. Good job.
Yes, and the conference floor is packed today, and we are so excited to be back filming JSA TV Lives. But just as a recap, Keely, last night was amazing. So many different networking events and parties that we were able to attend and see some of our clients and meet some new friends. The top of the list was MCFI, our client. They had a poolside cabana event, which was so nice, and we got to network there. And then we headed over to Sway for a really meaningful event for the Women Tech Forum and iMasons that we were honored to be invited to and a part of. Why don't you tell viewers a little bit about that event, Keely?
Yes, it was a lot of fun. It was at Sway, as you said, and one of the just the key takeaways was just the opportunity to sit there and chat with women in the technology field in all walks of it. You know, we're on the marketing and public relations side. We talk to women who are doing sales, but it's really interesting to see that no matter where we are in an organization in technology, there are similarities and differences and the same challenges. And so it was really insightful to sit and talk with people who, maybe they sit in a little bit of a different spot at the table, but we can all learn from each other and grow from each other. So that was really cool. And I also have to give a shout out to the team who planned it, because the gift that they gave away to all of us who registered was a beautiful Kendra Scott bracelet. I stowed it away safely in my bag so it gets back home safely and soundly with me. But thank you again for just such a wonderful event. And we do today, for day 2, turning our attention back to today, we have a lot of great things coming up. Our first JSA TV interview is on deck right over there, so stick around for Lincoln Rack House. We'll be talking with them in just a moment. And then a pretty full day of JSA TV interviews. One of your clients that you work with is coming up soon, and a few others.
Yes. We have Involta coming up and Lincoln Rack House, one of our clients. So we're super excited to get some of the interviews streamed live to you watching. Thanks for watching. Also, a special shout out to some of our clients that were sponsors of the Women in Tech Forum, iMasons event last night, Stream, Prime Data Centers. So it was really great to see, Gabby, VP of Hyperscale there, and the Stream team. So super proud of our clients for, taking the step and the leap forward to sponsor these critical, important events to encourage more women in our industry, because there still is that challenge. So super happy to be a part of that event. And stay tuned for JSA TV Live, streaming all day here from Datacloud USA in Austin, Texas. Happy networking.
Welcome to JSA TV Live, the live streaming newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. Today we are in sunny Austin, Texas for day 2 of Datacloud USA. I'm Allison Whelan, and joining me today is Thomas Hill, Vice President of Acquisitions and Investments at Lincoln Rack House. Thomas, welcome to JSA TV.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So what brings you to Datacloud? What are you hoping to get out of this week?
Yeah, so it's always twofold. One, learn about prevailing trends in the industry. Always keeping up to date on new advancements, and then two, it's the networking. Obviously, wanting to collaborate with other organizations and like-minded groups to see if there's opportunities to collaborate in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And your expertise is in data center acquisitions. Can you share with us some of the elements that go into your evaluation when deciding on a potential purchase?
Yeah, sure. So, I've got a traditional real estate background, and I always start high level from that perspective of understanding, the bones of the investment, operations, operating expenses, revenues, the tenant quality, and the remaining term on the lease, and then zoom in further to the data center components of, what's the power story, what's the pathway to additional capacity to add value, to make sense of the investment.
Absolutely. I'm sure that background really helps and comes in handy with that. So, Lincoln Rack House recently made headlines for an acquisition in Atlanta. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So we're very excited. It's a 185,000 square foot facility in Alpharetta. Currently across 2 halls, there are 5 megawatts today available for lease. We're already underway with an expansion of that facility for an additional 8 megawatts, and then down the road there's opportunity for an additional expansion for a standalone facility for up to 30 megawatts. So we've got high hopes for that one.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a lot going on with that one. And then New Albany, Ohio has been dubbed the next Silicon Valley. And then earlier this year, Lincoln Property Company in Harrison Street announced the acquisition of a 190-acre land site that will serve as a multi-use technology and distribution park. Can you tell us more about that data center campus development?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot going on in New Albany, Ohio. At first it was the hyperscalers and Meta, Amazon, and Google. Since we put our land under contract, the Intel site for the chip manufacturing was announced, so we're very excited about that as well. We're approaching that as a mixed-use project with industrial and data center. About 1 million square feet of industrial is planned for the project, and then anywhere from 1 to 1.5 million square feet of data center, depending on if we do a single user campus style environment or a multi-tenant style environment. And as you mentioned, we're underway on the substation. There'll be an on-site substation in coordination with AEP, and we just began construction of that, so we're very excited.
Awesome. And what would you say are the top trends in the data center industry right now?
Yeah, so what we look for is keeping tabs on what the hyperscalers are doing, where they are, where they're going, and then importantly from our perspective, since we are real estate developers, it's understanding what can they handle themselves versus what do they need. Do they need to lease space and partner with third-party developers such as ourselves? And then secondly, it's just the very basic supply-demand metrics of traditional real estate. It's monitoring the primary, secondary markets, understanding the predominant stories and trends. Very recently, you saw a lot of supply get gobbled up in the primary markets. Not only by hyperscalers, but also large colo operators and enterprise users. So it's just reading that, anticipating trends, and then if you want to acquire or build, getting ahead of that trend, because oftentimes that speed to delivery will win deals and have successful projects.
Yeah, that's amazing. And where can our viewers go to learn more?
Yeah, you can check out our portfolio at rackhouse.com, and we're also active on LinkedIn under Lincoln Rack House.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing more from you guys, and I'm sure we'll have you on again, and you'll have even more acquisitions underway. So thank you for joining us, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in to Datacloud USA and JSA TV Live. Happy networking.
Welcome back to JSA TV Live, where we are the live streaming news source here at Datacloud USA and having a great day two so far. I'm Keely Dorian, and right now I am joined by the lovely Michael Holm, the global sector lead for Telia. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Nice to have me here.
Yeah, so how has your Datacloud conference been going so far, and what sorts of great things have you been learning about?
Of course, there's a lots of sustainability topics on the agenda, and that's a thing that is good for us, like a data center provider. The company I represent, we are coming from the Northern Europe, from the Nordics, so we are present in all the Nordic countries like Finland, Sweden, Norway, and so on.
Yeah, let's back up and let's talk just a little bit about Telia. Of course, a very big name in the industry, but for some of our U.S. viewers who maybe aren't as familiar, can you just share a little bit about who you are and what you do and where you operate a little bit more?
Yeah, I said we are in the Nordics, so Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and the Baltic states. That's our home market. Maybe people here in U.S. know us more about our former company called Telia Carrier. That is today Aurelion, that was sold out. So that's what people here maybe in US know us for. But we are a traditional telco with little over 20,000 people. That's where we are.
Very good, thank you. So other than, of course, the sun and the great barbecue that you can find in the great state of Texas, what in particular brought you to Datacloud USA here in Austin?
Yeah, on my agenda, of course, we have a great new modern data center in Helsinki, and of course I'm here to look for customer that US customer when they're entering the European market. I think that the Nordics in general and Finland is a very, very great place in addition to traditional places like Frankfurt or Amsterdam today. That's the main reason to be here. I'm a co-location provider. That's my main job.
Absolutely. So we've heard a lot of great thought leadership, and people talk about sustainability alongside energy within our data center space. Have you heard any key takeaways or anything you think that will really help to start advance our industry as we move forward with greening the data center space, if you will?
Yeah, I think that here is a lots of discussions in US where we should be and where we should go. I think most of the data center, I'm not talking only on my own, also there's competitor in the Nordics, we are already there. And of course this is going to be a tough year thanks to the situation in Ukraine with energy prices going up and so on. But in general we don't have any bigger issues with the availability of green energy in the Nordics and in the Finland. We have been running our data center on hydro for the last 4 years. So that's not an issue. One particular thing is Finland is going to open a new nuclear power plant. That means that we will have the base for energy when it's not blowing or the sun is not shining. So because we have a winter time when this is a little tricky. So from that point of view, I think that there is not only on this event, this is also on other events. That there are lots talking about where should we go, but we can already prove that we are there. We do all of these things that already here people are talking about. We have our UPSs integrated to the network grid. So if there is like a blackout in the grid, we can support the grid with our UPSs. We don't use any data center in the Nordics. We only use water in our toilets. We don't use water for cooling. We don't use water for cooling. Most of the data center is 90-95% of the time running on free cooling. So these are things, and as I said, generally all data center in the Nordic runs on either hydro or wind. So I think we are already there.
It sounds like you are, and I love that you're absolutely leading by example in showing, these are the things that we can do as an industry. Do you think that others are ready for some of the more strict emissions regulations that are coming?
I think we all have to be ready. Of course, it's a little easier to say that since this data center that I represent, that was a purpose-built data center. We were opened it in 2018, so we could plan to be green already. And Telia is, I think, also a forerunner, the company overall. We have already been CO2 neutral internally since 2020, I think, 2020. and we are also putting lots of efforts now into the so-called scope 3 that we are also require that by 2025 75% of all our partners should also have these commit-sets. So really end-to-end stuff. A little challenge is that maybe that can you really put this into customer prices? I don't know. I think still in the end the thing is that it's the money who makes the world go round. But if we want to have a better and a more sustainable world, we have to suffer somewhere. And for that reason, I think that it's much more greener to have data centers in the Nordic, for example, somewhere in southern Europe where it's much warmer and so on. So that's the thing. Answering your question, I don't know, did I answer your question? I think that over the years, this will be the standard. You have to be green if you want to be in the data center.
That's right, because ready or not, here it comes. So
Yes.
we love that you're leading the way and making some great points, and we love that you're here today at Datacloud and here with us at JSA TV Live. Real quickly, just for our viewers, where can we go to learn more about what you guys are doing and working on?
Well, one URL is looking at the telia.fi/data center. There you will find it.
Great. All right, well, check it out. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our viewers for joining us, and as always, happy networking. Welcome back to JSA TV Live, of course, the live streaming news source here at Datacloud USA. We're enjoying day 2 in Austin of Datacloud. Lots going on, and we have a lot to get to. But right now, we are talking with Jim Bowie. He is the president and CEO of Involta. Thank you so much for joining us here at Datacloud and JSA TV Live.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So let's get down to business. You guys have a lot going on at Involta lately. But first, for those who might not be familiar, can you just give us a quick history? And of course, we were bonding just before this because you're an Iowa-based company, and I grew up in Iowa.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Let's go. So we're actually celebrating our 15th birthday in business. Born and bred company out of the Midwest. We are a national hybrid IT provider. So we've grown out of our humble Midwest beginnings to be a national hybrid IT provider. We focus on tier 2 and 3 markets and really have a specialty in build, owning, and operating data centers, cloud platforms, cybersecurity, and other services.
And we're so glad to have you focusing on those markets. There's definitely a lot of need there. And you recently had a big project in Cleveland. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we're so excited. You know, we really view Cleveland as a hub for us, and really we think about it as Northeast Ohio. So we actually have 4 data centers in Ohio. We have Canton, Independence, which is a suburb of Cleveland, Akron, and Youngstown, and we're able to use the Ohio market as really a hub for data. If you think about the secular trends and just the expansion of data and moving data across the country from east to west, Northeast Ohio is a great hub. That expansion that we put in place, we're up to 10 megawatts of capacity overall in Northeast Ohio, and that'll continue to grow. I think if you look at the challenges of tier 1 markets with utilities and everything that's going on, Cleveland's just, and Northeast Ohio is just a great place for people to make a choice to store their data securely, reliably. Yep.
Absolutely. And this comes on the heels of some transition, and we should say congratulations to you, by the way. That was part of that transition with your executive leadership team. Can you just tell us about that and what you've been doing as you've stepped into the role of president and CEO?
Yeah, you bet. I'm so excited. I've been with Involta now for 6 years, and from day one I said, I always wanted to run the company. So right away, our founder, Bruce Lehrman, worked with me on that succession plan. So we knew ultimately this would be my company to hand the baton off to. But Bruce Lehrman, and we still have to move to the board. So he's vice chair of our board. Still talk to him every day. Very instrumental. And I feel very fortunate. You think about the board that we have with the Carlyle investment, which came in January. We have operators on our board. I think a lot of infrastructure fund and private equity backed companies have a lot of financial expertise, which we certainly have a depth of financial expertise with the Carlyle Group. But if you look at the operational expertise on our board, including Bruce and Gary Wojciech, it's a pretty, and Steve Gray, guys who have built and run very successful businesses in the industry. You know, the sky's the limit. So couldn't pick better people to work with. Couldn't be happier with where we're headed.
That's amazing. It's even better if you love what you do and who you're doing it with. Yeah. So you've been around for 15 years. What's the secret in the sauce, and how do you continue to be prosperous and grow after that long? Because for our industry in the data center, we're still a young company. So having somebody, or a young industry, so having a 15-year veteran in the room, that's something to give a shout out to.
Well, I appreciate that. I think when we were celebrating our 15th birthday as a company, we talked about unicorn companies and how many companies fail, not just in our industry, but the failure rate's high. So to achieve what we have, but we also think of it as just a beginning. We have a Net Promoter Score program with our clients, and if you're familiar with that program, it's a scale of -100 to +100, and we're a 79. Like, that shows you how much our clients really love to work with us. We solve a ton of very challenging IT problems. We attach technology solutions to their business problems. We help them to grow their businesses. I think if you do that, if you really focus on your customer experience and your employee experience, you're going to be around for, we'll be around for another 15 years. I'm hopeful, not just my kids, but my grandkids. would consider working for Involta, and that's the type of business we built the business to run for into perpetuity. But it's clients and employees. That's what really drives the business.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. So, one last question, and then we'll let you go because I know that you're preparing to go and do a panel upcoming here at 11 o'clock on industry disruption and the metaverse. Can you give us a little preview of what you're talking about?
Sure, I'd love to. I think, it's interesting. Like, people look at secular trends in the industry and the explosion of data. Well, imagine, you create a more immersive web, and whether it's complete virtual reality, which we've seen a lot of content in gaming, or augmented reality, which, if you remember the Super Bowl and integrating real life with the virtual world, the amount of data that's necessary to create in real time, have that data. It's like nothing you've ever seen. The amount of data in the world, the number of zettabytes that we're going to have in the world that need storage, transportation. It's going to be incredible for the industry. I'm excited for the panel to talk about it and get some ideas from other people. But I think it drives the industry. The size of the pie, if you will, for the industry is going to be unbelievable the next 10 years, in large part to the metaverse. And there are real business use cases, which we'll talk about some of those.
All right. Well, we look forward to listening into it as much as we can. So, real quickly, where can we go to learn more about Involta and what you guys have coming down the pike?
Yeah, the best place is our website, www.involta.com.
All right. Thank you so much for being here with us at JSA TV and at Datacloud. Best of luck on the panel, although I know you're going to kill it, so you don't even need my well wishes. And thank you so much for joining us here on JSA TV Live. As always, happy networking. Welcome back to JSA TV Live, the live streaming news source here at Datacloud USA. Day 2 here in Austin, Texas, and we grabbed Michael Donahue, the managing director of Cumulus Data, off the floor to come up and talk to us. But you guys have a lot of great things going on, so we're definitely excited to hear from you. Thanks for being here with us at JSA TV.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to be here in Austin. We're based out of Houston, so it's an easy commute across, and it's been a great few days.
Absolutely. Well, let's get right into it. Let's talk about Cumulus data, for people who just might not be familiar with you yet. Just let us know who you are and what you do.
Great. So Cumulus Data, what we're trying to do is something inventive and different than anywhere else in the world, actually. We're building a data center campus directly connected to a nuclear plant in Northeast Pennsylvania. And what we're trying to solve for is what we like to call the trilemma. And the data center industry right now is trying to solve for clean power, cheap power, and also reliable power. And when you connect to a nuclear power plant, you get that, right? It's net zero power, it's on all the time, and it's relatively cheap. So we find that it's just the perfect solution.
How are you finding that people are accepting that? And I know you're working a lot with nuclear energy as well. So how is that being accepted with who you're working with and just with the broader community?
For sure. So it's been accepted very well. It's taken a little bit of time over the past 2 years since we started the project to get everybody educated. But I think the idea is that as people become more and more educated with nuclear, they find that it has to be part of the equation to get us to net zero. Renewables were a good start. The energy company that I work for, we're building renewables and we embrace renewables. But to truly get to a net zero grid, we need to include nuclear. So as we've gone out and talked to hyperscalers and enterprise customers, the more and more we educate them, the more and more they get really excited. One of the statistics that we've used from a recent UN study is that nuclear's greenhouse gas emissions over the course of its life cycle is half of that of wind. And half of that of wind. And so when you think about trying to get, again, to net zero, nuclear is just a great solution to help the broader equation.
Absolutely. And sustainability has been a really big topic of conversation here at Datacloud USA. Have you taken away any good nuggets of information and things that you think you can continue to think on and use after you leave here?
Yeah, for sure. I think the next generation. So there's 99 reactors right now in the U.S. and there used to be more. They've shut down due to economic reasons. And so I think the first step is we want to try to take our idea and maybe explore other sites that we can do this. But after we explore those other sites, the next step is small modular reactors. I've heard a lot of people talking about that. And if nuclear is going to be part of the solution, I think that needs to be included in the discussion. We need to get the regulatory agencies to help move that along. And there's been a lot of discussion on that, and that's really encouraging because I think 2 years ago, if you were to sit on any environmental or sustainable panels, it probably would have never came up. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, I love that you guys are just looking at other ways that we can continue to build and make this space that we work in more green.
Yeah.
And I can't let you go without mentioning that you are a Greener Data fan. Hashtag Greener Data, of course, is what I'm talking about. What drew you to that book that we have here? Of course, shameless plug for our Greener Data book, available at greenerdata.net if you don't already have your copy.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a member of iMasons, Dean Nelson, he has been really a big advocate of greener data, and I came from the energy industry, and so as coming across to the energy industry, trying to get up to speed on the data center industry, and what a better way than learning how the industry in general is trying to become greener. And it's 20 different stories from 20 different people talking about how their companies are working towards sustainability. So I ended up I bought 20 books off of Amazon and tried to pass them out across our office to different people who want to get involved with the data center industry. And the feedback has been tremendous from everyone who's read the book.
We are so happy to hear that. And of course, just keep following hashtag greener data and greenerdata.net if you just want to learn a little bit more about that. But last question before we let you get out of here, just where can we go to learn more about who you guys are and what you have coming up as far as projects?
Sure, Cumulus.com. You can go online and find out more about our Cumulus data projects, our wind and solar projects, and our storage projects.
Thank you so much for stopping by with us at JSA TV. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the conference. And thank you, as always, for tuning in to JSA TV Live, and happy networking. Welcome back to JSA TV Live. We are the live streaming news source for Datacloud USA here in Austin, Texas. And it's been a wonderful day 2 of the conference. We're just about to wrap things up, but before we do, we wanted to sit down and have a conversation with Jose Guillema, with data center directors with Collier. Thank you so much for joining us on JSA TV Live.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So how has your Datacloud conference been as we're wrapping things up and things are starting to wind down?
I think it's been excellent. It's a great opportunity for us. You know, we come far away, Spain, and it's been a pleasure attending the event. And I think that we've learned lots of things, and it's been a real pleasure attending the event. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Colliers, for those who don't know, is one of the leading data center operators in Spain, in that market. So can you just offer some insight into what you guys do and then why that geographic location is so enticing?
Yeah. Actually, we are a real estate advisory company, and what we provide is, a complete and exhaustive advisory throughout the value chain of the data center, from the land acquisition to the development of the facility, and also we got a good resources regarding corporate transactions and so on. And let's say that our footprint is limited to Spain and Portugal, despite we have strong operations in the UK, Italy, and obviously in the US with our teammates. But yes, I think that Spain has gained a lot of momentum in the last years because of the constraints that US operators and the other operators in the European countries are facing in the flat market, Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, and Paris. And, geographically, Spain is ideal. It's an excellent landing station for subsea cables. Fiber connectivity is top class, and we have plenty of supply and capacities in terms of renewable energy. So I think it's a great place to launch your investments in the data center space.
Absolutely. Investments, not operators. I apologize for that. So let's talk about fiber connectivity, though. As you just mentioned, the fiber connectivity is strong there. So how does the fiber connectivity in Spain compare to the other parts of Europe?
I think it's top class. For the last decade, I think there has been a great investment in terms of fiber and dark fiber in the whole Iberian Peninsula. And we are taking advantage of it. I mean, data center operators from Spain, if you take into account standard applications requirements of 65 milliseconds latency, you can reach North America, South America through Brazil. You can reach North Africa, Middle East, and then Central Europe. In fact, only 35% of the data managed by the data center operators, data center facilities that are in Spain, are managed and are, let's say, consumed by the Spanish market. The rest is we are providing services to the rest of Europe, North Africa, and so on.
Yeah. Definitely an emerging market and something to keep an eye on. We're here at the conference, we're talking a lot about sustainability and greening that data center space. Spain has been making some pretty good strides with renewable energy. So can you just talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing and how that's benefiting the industry as a whole?
I mean, the Spanish market is really, they know, in fact, that being ESG compliant and getting the energy from renewable and green resources is a must, not just regulatory, but also from the commercial side. I mean, customers require that, and you have to comply with it. And I think that Spain is really very good positioned in terms of renewable energy. We are great. There's a lot of solar farms, windmills, and so on. And I think that hybridization in that regard would be a very good solution for, reaching this green data center, let's say, ideal framework. And in fact, we announced back in May a project in Huesca, just beside AWS campus in Spain. And we are very fond of it, and we'll see. It's very exciting, next ones, and a lot of challenges.
That is exciting. So congratulations. Definitely something to be celebrated. Can we talk real quickly about Madrid and what's the role of that city as the market continues to emerge?
Madrid has the advantage that it's in a 600 kilometers radius from any point of the coast of Spain. So that in terms of connectivity, it's a very good interconnection point. There's plenty of sources to provide that connectivity, and the fact is that 90% of the current installed capacity of data centers in Spain is already installed in Madrid. No, Barcelona is just behind. Maybe a couple of years before, but they are still announcing big projects there. So I think most of the requirements in terms of investment is related to Madrid, and Madrid is, nowadays it has 100 megawatts installed capacity, and they're going to reach 600 in the next 4 years. So I think they're going to catch the flat market Paris at least. So that's the target.
So 5 to 10 years down the line, what do you see for the overall data center market in Spain?
I'm certain that we will be the Southern Europe hub for data centers. We will take advantage of the African market growth. We'll see. I think that's plenty of opportunities. We have a lot of generation possibilities in terms of energy, and I think that in the end we will become very relevant in the European market.
Very good. Lots of exciting things to come for sure. Where can we go to just keep an eye on all of the things that you guys have coming and what you're seeing?
Sure. Thank you.
Can you tell our viewers where they can go to learn more about your company?
You can go to colliers.com. I think that there you can find our contacts, and also in Colliers Spain, and we're happy to help you in any of your requests.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us here on JSA TV Live, and thanks to our viewers for tuning in, and happy networking.